William Samoei Ruto is a very shrewd politician and very smart and hardworking. In fact, if you compare the deputy president to his colleagues in Youth for KANU 92, he has achieved more than any other member of that team, despite the fact that the deputy president by that time was just a junior member of Youth for KANU. You go to ODM. When the deputy president was in ODM, he actually delivered. The success of Jubilee Party in 2013 and 2017 can be attributed to one man, William Samoei Ruto. But despite all those, the deputy president is still prone to committing grave political mistakes. And just like Jakoi once said, the deputy president is very smart, but
Bonnie has just lit fire. And fire must burn him. I said once here or twice that William Samoei Ruto is a very smart politician in this country, but God refused to give him wisdom.
So the DP is prone to committing grave political mistakes. And in my view, I've always opined on this platform that the deputy president committed 3 grave mistakes, especially in Jubilee Party, and that's what gutted President Uhuru Kenyatta. The first mistake the deputy president made was to try to outshine Uhuru Kenyatta. You don't outshine the master in politics. In politics, even if you are good at something, even if you are the best singer, you are the best performer, you must always attribute all those to the boss. The DP made the people of Central Kenya believe that he was more popular than the president. Everybody in this country knew that the deputy president was actually the one who was running the government. So that was the first mistake. The second mistake he committed, in my view, was his failure to take care of President Uhuru Kenyatta's interest. Politics is all about interest. Don't be ever cheated by any other person. Uhuru Kenyatta told the deputy president that personally I'm going to serve for 10 years, then I'm going to help you win and serve another 10 years. So according to the deputy president, that was the end of story. That was the end of the story for the deputy president. He forgot that Uhuru was a human being. Uhuru basically wanted the deputy president to tell him, I've completed my term. Wewe pia umemaliza yako 10 as a deputy president. You are going for the presidency. Now, where is my interest? Instead, the deputy president started shopping for a suitable running mate from Central Kenya. So that's the second mistake. The third mistake was to engineer rebellion against the president in Central Kenya, which he did successfully. But the president has used strategies and successfully managed to outwit him in that game. So today I want us to look at how the president successfully managed to outwit the deputy president to actually tame the rebellion, which was so much high in Central Kenya and the large Mount Kenya region. Now, back to the main issue. If you've been following the politics in this country, and specifically the larger Mount Kenya region, or to be precise, Central Kenya politics, one thing was very clear, that the deputy president was actually the one who was dictating and controlling the politics of that region. And the president tried so many times to win back the region without much success. And last year in November, the president then convened a meeting at the Sagana State Lodge with all elected leaders from the Mount Kenya region. in an attempt to actually address their issues. But again, that did not work. But this year, the president then decided to now start facing the reality of a rebellion in central Kenya. So he embarked on outwitting his deputy and used several strategies. But the question is, how did he manage? Because we are just in June. We had Corona, and we are talking of from January. And the president has managed to turn table on his deputy. Today, so many elected members of parliament who are accompanying the deputy president and working with him all over the country from central Kenya, the number has completely reduced. Uhuru just left that camp the other day. Today you can count, if you go to Murang'a, you can count the number of members of parliament who are still with the DP. In Murang'a, for example, I can only count Alice Wahome, Ndindi Nyoro. You go to Kiambu, where he had the highest number of support. You can also just count two. Kimani Ichung'wah and Moses Kuria. You go to other places, there are just very few. In fact, in Nyeri, there was almost zero. Almost zero in Nyeri. So how did the president succeed in doing this? Number one, the first strategy which he used was to reduce the influence of the deputy president on members of parliament from central Kenya. How did he do this? Very simple. The president, through an executive order number 1 of 2019, appointed Fred Okengo Matiang'i as the supervisor of all government projects in the country. That executive order effectively made Fred Okengo Matiang'i the supervisor of all government projects. It effectively made Fred Matiang'i kind of the Prime Minister of the Republic of Kenya. In short, Fred Matiang'i took most of the roles which the deputy president was performing. How did it reduce the influence of the DP? Before Matiang'i was appointed, the deputy president would launch projects all over the country. He would just call a minister, organize with the minister, call a member of parliament, I'm coming to your area, tell me the road you want to be launched, then they will launch. Facilitated by the government. So when the president stopped that, it means the influence of the DP on the members of parliament started reducing. So no member of parliament would now go to the deputy president and tell him about a specific road. The DP will not go to an area and point out that this road itafanywa. Hiyo ilikuwa kazi sasa ya Matiang'i. And because power attracts people, by reducing the power of the DP on those projects, members of parliament now started streaming to Matiang'i. By that time, Fred Matiang'i was one of the key opponents of the deputy president, William Samoei Ruto. And that's how the influence on the MPs started going down. Number two, the second strategy which the president did was to try and address the concerns and the issues affecting the people of central Kenya and the larger Mount Kenya region. And he's still doing that today. Some of the issues these guys used to ride on were actually issues which are affecting farmers. The coffee, our coffee, you talk of our coffee, so you have our tea, our milk, things like those. So the president, heard them and said, okay, that's your problem. Okay, you have a cabinet minister for agriculture, Mwangi Kiunjuri, but it's not working. Of course, he was being frustrated. Then the president brought in Peter Munya and started facilitating Peter Munya to address some of those issues. And that noise now went down. So these guys did not have any issue to talk about. And by talking about these issues, people like Moses Kuria, Ndindi Nyoro would actually incite the ordinary folks down there against these issues because they were very popular with the people. When you tell people that the government is not doing much about your coffee, and indeed their coffee rotting somewhere there, then they were very popular with them. So once the president sorted out all those, in fact, this past week, Ndindi Nyoro accompanied the cabinet minister for transport, and he hailed President Uhuru Kenyatta's performance for the first time. And from all indications, even Ndindi Nyoro might decide to leave that camp. So the president decided to sort out all those issues. Then the third strategy which the president used within a very short time, just between December up to now, was to target the rebels directly. There were people who are serving in government, like cabinet ministers, people like Mwangi Kunjuri, but they were sabotaging the president. There were governors like Waititu. All those people were targeted directly. So if you are Governor Waititu na unaleta shida because you had Kiambu funds in your pocket, you had to go. Kama when Mwangi Kunjuri and you are using the ministry to undermine the president or not to do much, because doing much would be attributed to the president, then you had to go. So Mwangi Kunjuri left. If you are Moses Kuria and you are misusing the CDF, then the system had to tell you. If you are Girathi Gachagua, for example, if you are Girathi Gachagua and you did businesses with the government illegally and Kenyans lost money through your companies, then you have to be remanded and your accounts frozen. And because the government now started targeting these guys directly like this, the rest now started making a retreat. And that's how the DP lost the ground there. Number 4, which I think is what has really changed the whole equation, is the president taking charge of Jubilee Party. Most supporters of Jubilee, and specifically the allies of the DP, had believed that the deputy president was the one on the steering wheel. So when Jubilee Party went, the president decided and took control of that Jubilee Party. A very strong signal was sent to them. So most of them decided, okay, let's relax and see how things are going to unfold. Some of them started going to Capitol Hill to be cleansed, like Ketu Uhuru, Sarah Korere. So many of them. I even saw the lady who was mama, I don't know, women rep wapi, ule wa Kimbelembele mwenye, when Simba Arati was going for Ditmas Baraza, the one Simba Arati was asking, unataka ni wakimbizi hapa? The one was saying yes. Then zile hao watu vijana wanakuja, anaambia Arati, no, ni rafiki yangu. Arati anamwambia okay, huyu leave, akamshika. That women rep. I also saw her with Junet yesterday, where Junet made those statements. So probably she's also back into the fold. But the mere fact that the president took charge of Jubilee Party, and Jubilee Party is the dominant party in central Kenya, in larger Mount Kenya region. So it means the option would be, if you want the Jubilee ticket, then you must be seen to be in good books with President Uhuru Kenyatta. Because the president might decide, okay, I'm going to support the president. Sorry, I'm going to support my deputy. I can't decide that in 2022. But on condition that anybody who opposed me is not going to get the ticket, there's nothing they'll do. Told you will just sign certificates of the opponents. So that's another strategy which the president used. Number 5, I think, is a charm offensive. I think there's kind of some charm offensive moves which have been engineered by very senior people in government. And these guys are talking directly to the people and also directly to the elected leaders. Remember, most of the people on the ground were actually being incited by their elected leaders. So I think there's a move by very senior government officials or businessmen and women from central Kenya to rally these leaders around President Uhuru Kenyatta. And that's why their stance is softening. It can't be explained how Ketu Uhuru decided just from nowhere to make a slow but systematic comeback to the wing of President Uhuru Kenyatta. There is nothing which can explain the 3 governors from Kirinyaga accompanying Karanja Kibicho to an event and then confirming that indeed they have left that camp. There is nothing. People like the governors for Nyeri, I think there's a kind of charm offensive to talk to these people to support the president. Sasa wanaongea ile lugha ya kinyumbani. Wanaambia wa sasa, unajua hii kiti inaenda and Uhuru ndio sahi anajipanga na anapanga na ndugu yake, so mwende huko. So some of them have started going that route. And lastly is intimidation. Ndindi Nyoro was very clear yesterday in one of the interviews he held with Inoro that some of them don't even sleep. They are being intimidated. Kama ulifanya biashara centuries ago, they are being revived. So intimidation is also working because politics is about interest. Nobody, and I repeat, nobody is going to be willing to sacrifice for the deputy president in Jubilee Party. Nobody. None. Nobody is going to sacrifice. It's all about interest. And because none of them are willing to go through that intimidation, they are surrendering. And of course, politics is local. So in my view, that's how the president has managed to tame the rebellion which was being engineered by the deputy president himself in central Kenya. I don't know what you think. If you are viewing this video for the first time, it's coming to your YouTube notification for the first time, please take a second now and hit the subscribe button so that next time we produce a video like this, you'll get notified. What we do on this channel is simple. We analyze politics in a way you cannot get it anywhere else. So just take a second or two, hit the subscribe button. And also please don't forget to always check vuguvugu.com. It's now up. Things are now looking good. So there are certain information you always get there. You can't get them anywhere else. So just take a second. Also, after watching the videos, just go to vuguvugu.com and you'll get latest updates on that channel. Thank you guys, and please, the request I always make, help me create interaction. Simple. Give the video a thumbs up if you like it. If you don't like it, give it a thumbs down. I'll be able to know if the video is good or bad. Then we can always improve. Share the videos with your friends on Facebook, on Twitter, on Instagram, everywhere. Just share the link. So many people are doing that, and I appreciate. And also just drop your comments. Thank you guys, and please, may you have a good day.